worked 4 hours at the end of this bill is. I give way to my friend.
I'm very grateful to my honourable friend. I've got a petition here from 190,553 people objecting to this bill. Does my honourable friend think they will have any understanding of how the Leader of the House is forcing this through in less than 4 hours?
I'll go further than the fact that people out there don't have an understanding. I will go further and say even some of the charities and the voluntary sector organisations involved don't have an understanding. And I'll go even closer to home and say I wonder how many members of Parliament have an understanding of how this actually worked over the last 24 hours.
In accounting for their time, and he finishes, worse still, could deter some from campaigning at all. Give way.
Surely the problem here is it's not really the amount of money. The danger is that the government is completely ignoring the fact that small charities believe that the government is setting out to tie them up in knots and prevent them from expressing opinions that they might find difficult. That's why this is regarded as an attack on freedom. Isn't that the problem?
My honourable friend is absolutely right. That is why we've used the phrase throughout discussion of this bill that it has a chilling effect, because there are the direct effects of the legislation itself, but in a sense the greater concern is the one that he has reminded us of, the broader effect that it has on the ability of civil society and citizens to participate in debates in the run-up to elections. Let me
I'm very happy to give way if one of the honourable members wants to. No? Happy to give way.
I really was just asking if the honourable gentleman would like to provide some evidence for that assertion he's just made, because that sounds like the most ludicrous thing I've listened to in the course of the afternoon.
Oh, well, the honourable gentleman disappoints and upsets me, suggesting that was a logical remark. I mean, the reality is that most of the people in this country want to have big money taken out of politics. Part one of the bill was all around lobbying. But going back to
an election campaign, they're talking about encouraging parties to make manifesto commitments. I give way.
I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman. In all his research on this bill, has he come across the justification for settling on the 2% figure as the restriction on the maximum spend? Is there a rationale for it, or did the government pluck it out of thin air?
I think it's possibly the latter. I have heard no significant rationale or understandable rationale that I could rely on for that. I mean, it is done and it is quoted. And I accept that in theoretical terms and intellectual terms, if you stretch it, yes, we want to make sure that we're proofed against things like PAC money and that sort of model of things in the future. But if we're really talking about making sure that big money doesn't influence election campaigns, then we should be legislating against things like what Lord Ashcroft is able to do with his money and that sort of impact and targeted impact on particular constituencies. But of course, it isn't happening.